Hello everyone, another day, another deck. Here I have a Selesnya aggro deck. I mostly copied from a premiere event. I changed a few things, but they're mostly all the same. Some play more like one drops, but other than that, this is more of a mid-rangey one. We've got, and I mean, there's not much to go through here since all Selesnya decks are basically the same, like just all straight green-white decks. Uh, if you're not playing like Craig Wesco's very weenie deck, but they all basically try to get some early creatures out with like experiment ones and all the 2-drops that are very good in these colors. We've got Voice of Resurgence, 2 Guild Mages. I'll get back to those later. 4 Charms and 4 Conclaves, and which are the 3/3 Centaur, and those are just used to pump up your early drop experiment ones. Because this deck has a problem with Wrath, so you play Experiment ones and Voice of Resurgence and Rootborn defenses and Advent to an extent, just to try to survive them, to eliminate your Wrath weakness. But you basically just play creatures and try to smash them in the face over and over again. And you have some populators like the Rootborn defenses, which are used to protect yourself from Wraths. Tristani, which is amazing against aggro decks. There are 2 more in the sideboard because of that. And the Scion, which is a card I've never actually played with, but it's a 4/4 for 5, which is fine, and then it populates generally a elemental token. Sometimes you'll get like a worm or just a centaur, so it's a little extra added value. Yeah, there's not really too much to talk about here. The guild mages, I think, are the only interesting. There's 2 centaur healers and 4 smiters, because smiter is better defensively and offensively. There's healer's just like an extra 3 power creature. Doesn't really provide anything, gives you a little extra defense against red decks. The guild mages are here mostly for evolving and has the added benefit of being pretty good against control decks due to its activated abilities in the long game. And the deck I copied this from was playing 3. That was an awkward number, so I shifted some around so I could play a few more centaur healers, because I think red is more popular. And Guild Mage against red is not very good. It's just like a 2/2 bear, because you never really have time to activate the abilities. And if you do, you're winning already. As for the sideboard, and honestly, the sideboard's a little bit of a mess. I don't really know how I'm going to sideboard in between games. Against control, we have a Guild Mage, for the same reasons it's in the main deck. A Pithing Needle, so I can name any Jace, Aetherling, anything like that. 2 Sundering Growths for the detention spheres and etc. of the world. Rootborn defenses for Wrath, and a Gideon Jura, or not Gideon Jura. Well, I would love to play Gideon Jura, but instead I'm playing the much less impressive Gideon Champion of Justice. Just as a large creature, you can usually be like a 5 or 6 loyalty creature, 6/6 swing. Over and over again. It's just very difficult for them to get rid of. The only thing that gets rid of it is a detention sphere that I can think of off the top of my head. Like, it's not very good against Azorius Charm either, but I mean, your deck already sucks against Azorius Charm, so you're just gonna have to suck that up. Against the more aggro decks, we have 2 Trostani. It's a form of inevitability and a lot of life gain. Unflinching Courage, which is very good against the aggro decks, because it makes your creature outclass theirs and lets you win the race. It's just Armadillo Cloak, it's always been good. And Gift of Orsova. I actually board in Gift of Orsova sometimes against the more mid-range decks, just because it gives flying. You can hook it up on like a worm token or something if you want to live the dream and make it fly across. But yeah, that's the deck. I guess I can talk about the lands. There's 9 forests, 7 plains, and 8 duels. A little more skewed toward forests because the mana costs are basically even, but the color requirements are basically even, but there's a little more green because of you want the turn 1 experiment 1, and the Advent the Worm costs double green. So I won the die roll in round 1, and we're on the play. Well, I'm gonna choose to be on the play. And this hand's a mulligan because I have no early aggression. This hand's not ideal, but I probably should mulligan it. I don't have any 2-drops. If I had a 2-drop, like if this were a... Not that. Like if this were a Call the Conclave or something, I would definitely keep it and just hope. I don't think it's a definitely, but I think I would keep it in hope that I would be able to draw something. But currently what I'm doing with this hand is playing a Forest Experiment when attacking for 1, and then drawing a card. If it's a land, I just attack for 1 again. So it's like kind of miserable. And then I have to draw another land and play one of my creatures to evolve. That's just way too slow. So I'm just going to go with the turn 2 Guild Mage and hope to draw something. My actually best case scenario, I think, would be playing against Mono Red because they can't beat this card. Like, it's actually impossible. I'm just going to jam the Guild Mage. He might have Precinct Captain, but if he doesn't... I'm going to jam for 2. He can Azorius Charm my guy. Which, I don't actually think I want that to happen. So my consideration here is attacking with Guild Mage and him charming it to the top of my deck. If I don't attack, he probably just cycles... No, he can't cycle charm against his Selesnya deck. That's not very good. Because it's always good against me. If it's always good against me, I might as well make him get rid of it. Because I think my next turns are just playing Smiters anyway. And it turns out he either didn't want to use it or doesn't have it. Or maybe wanted to leave up and Syncopate. Yeah, I don't know why he would do... Like, I think cycling is much worse in this scenario than just, like, getting my Guild Mage. I can understand wanting to leave up and Syncopate, but there's a pretty high chance I'm just going to have a Smiter. Because I'm playing Selesnya. I'm going to play my Call, and then pass turn, hope I draw a land. That's because this card's much better post-Wrath. Like, if he has a Wrath here, he's going to play it, because if I have a land, he wants to get rid of my populating creatures. I mean, he could hold it for a turn. Okay, he just has Detention Spheres. It's unfortunate. Advent of the Worm is pretty good. I think I'm just going to jam the Smiter. I don't think I can play around Wrath anymore. Mainly because I don't have any lands. And he's missing land drops. He probably has like a Jacer's 2 in hand. Maybe some Sphinx's Revelations. Okay, so he drew his 4th land. So I'm not going to jam out this Call of the Conclave. I'll just hit him for 6 and pass turn. Because this puts him at lethal. He has to Wrath or he's going to die. So there's no reason to play another creature. And I assume he Wraths here. Like, he can play Jason plus it. But that runs the risk of dying to Selesnya Charm, so I don't think he would do that. Like, if I were on his side, I wouldn't just play Jason plus it, because you're dead to Selesnya Charm then. But he could be considering it. Like the +2/+2 version of Selesnya Charm, not the 9 token one. Okay, Precinct Captain is kind of annoying. Well, I drew the Selesnya Charm, so he should have ran out the Jace. I guess he could have like a bunch of these, because he stalled on 3 lands for quite a while. And I believe it was... No, he had 2 Valid Fountains. Not sure what his hand could be. I'm just gonna attack with this. He could use a Azorius Charm on it, or just block. Okay, this is gonna die. There's no reason to just waste my Selesnya Charm to pump through damage. He's not doing anything. Okay, that was weird. Because he just wanted to buy a turn, which is pretty good. I would love to draw a land. That turns on my Advent of the Worm, which is extremely good. Because it gives me a ton of power end of turn. With trample even. I didn't play any of my cards again because I'm playing around Wrath. Like Fear Wraths, I can at least play a Knight token and attack. My opponent's thinking about what to do. No pressure. I can safely assume he does not have Supreme Verdict in his hand. So I think he's considering about whether to play Jace or maybe like leave open Azorius Charm and Keyrune. It'd be pretty good for him if he had another land. Then he could play Jace and leave open the Charm. Assuming he has. Okay, so he played the Jace. If he pluses, he's dead. If he doesn't play a land. Okay, there's no 1-mana trick in this format. So, that I can think of. So I'm pretty sure he's just dead here. My opponent is taking forever to die. Oops. Okay, so they're both going at him. That is, let me make sure I'm counting correctly. So 4 plus 2 is 6, minus 2 is 4, plus 2 is 6. So we're going to yield to these. We're going to pump my smiter. And then he's dead. I guess Dispel would have stopped him from dying, but I still go for it there. Okay, so against this deck, I want to take out my probably Selesnya Charm. If he's not playing Esper, and the only reason I like Selesnya Charm against Esper is you get rid of their Obsidots and their large creatures, but Azorius only plays Angel, which Angel's pretty good against me, so I can leave in like 2 maybe. Healer, not very good. I don't want to play too many Scions. I want this Guild Mage, I want these Sundering Growths, I want this, I don't want these. Pithing Needle's pretty good against this deck as well. So, Tristani's not very good in this matchup. Like, you just kind of like overextend a lot when you play Tristani. And the life gain's not super relevant against the deck. Like, it's not irrelevant, but I could be undervaluing it. Like, it's possible that Tristani's better than Scion. But Scion does help with making the Voice Resurgent tokens bigger, because you get 2 to 3 creatures out of Scion. So you can like have a voice token out, an elemental token out, and it's a star, so it gets bigger as you play creatures. So you play the guild or the Scion, it counts as itself, it counts the bird, and it counts whatever it makes to populate. So that can get a lot of damage in one turn. So I'm gonna leave in 2 charms for the Angel. Actually, no, Call's not that good. I'm not sure. There's a lot of cards that like aren't very good, but there's not a lot of good sideboard options either. I took out the healers because they're mediocre. Like, they're pretty slow and they don't do enough damage. I have not seen a straight white-green deck or I'm sorry, white-blue deck in quite some time. He kept a 7. I'll keep my 7. My turn 2 is likely going to be Call the Conclave, unless he plays like Precinct Captain or something. Actually, no, it'll still be. Basically, if he has Syncopate open, I'm not going to play this, but if he doesn't, I will. Though if he tries to Precinct Captain me, I'll just play Call and wall him. Precinct Captain's pretty atrocious in this matchup. My creatures are much larger than his, and he's never going to get like a turn where he can get through with Precinct Captain unmolested. Okay, Guildgate, pass turn. I will counter with my own Guildgate, pass turn. I haven't decided if I like the Dragon's Maid Guildgate of Selesnya more. I think I like this one more because it's more green and white, whereas the other one has some like red and blue in it. I think it's just a bunch of houses, whereas this one's like the Guildgate. I'm just gonna play a land and pass turn. I don't want any of my spells getting countered for free, and if he wants to cycle an Azorius Charm, he's welcome to it. Azorius Charm is actually pretty good in this matchup because he gets rid of like Advent of the Worm tokens for 2 mana. So if he wants to cycle it, he's be my guest. And I don't want any of my spells syncopated right now. It's pretty free for me to play around syncopate, I think. Yeah, he's just cycling it, which I think is wrong. He has to need land pretty badly in order to want to cycle that. And he's still playing Precinct Captain? Okay, so his best case scenario here is playing a Detention Sphere and attacking through. His second best is probably just playing a Jace, minusing it, and passing turn. I think either way I play Loxodon Smiter. Because that way if I draw Sundering Growth, I can maybe get him later by killing his Detention Sphere and getting my Smiter back. Whereas if I play a Call of the Conclave, I, 1, don't use all my mana, and will never get that creature back. I could play Voice this turn, but as it doesn't block Precinct Captain that well, it's not really worth it. The fact that it limits his spellcast to his turn is also negligible, because if I play Voice, he's definitely going to Detention Sphere it. Whereas if he Detention Spheres my Smiter this turn, he gets a token and a Precinct Captain, and next turn I can play Voice and Conclave. Then he has to have like a Wrath or something, and then I get a Spirit token with the Wrath, or I'm sorry, an Elemental token, and then maybe we'll be able to play my Scion and populate it. At which point he'll have to have another Wrath, and I like it. It puts the pressure on him more this way. Okay, so he did what I thought he was gonna do. So my turn is Voice Conclave. So now if he rats, he loses his Precinct Captain, and I lose basically 1.5 cards. Okay, Detention Sphere my Voice. Oh, my Centaur token? That's interesting. I mean, this stops me from being able to block Precinct Captain, but it's only 2 damage. I'm not worried about Precinct Captain. And he still has to deal with this, like, blinking his, not blinking his rats, but blinking his Azorius Charms, certainly. And counter spells as well. Like, he's either dedicating himself just not to playing them, or doesn't have any, or has to go all in on this Precinct Captain. Which is kind of suspect, I think. Okay, so I drew a land. I think I'm just going to go Conclave, Conclave. That way I can, if he Wraths, I can populate my Spirit token, or my Elemental token. Then he Wraths again and I have an Advent. But then he's at 2 cards in hand to my advent, nothing else. I think I'm just gonna play a worm token and pass the turn. This puts me fewer cards down if he has Wrath, and it still forces him to Wrath if he has one. Unless he has another Detention Sphere, in which case, okay. Just kind of waiting to see what he does here. I'm not really sure. He could wait and try to Revelation. I think that might be pretty good for him right now, actually. He could Rev for 3, try to draw 3 more cards. And just like take 5. It's not a big deal, because you'll get back to 18 and have 3 more cards to deal with my cards. And I don't have anything to counter his Sphinx's Revelation, so it's basically free. I mean, the only bad part is he has to use it during his turn, because I get a token if he doesn't. Yeah, he just read for 3 right there. So a really good draw right now would be, I was about to call it Stolen Invocation. I can't remember the name of that card. Rootborn Defenses? That one. Yeah, okay. That would be my best draw right now, but I drew Plains, so it's definitely the worst draw possible. It's not that bad. I'm gonna attack with my worm and play a... I'm not gonna play anything, because I still think he has to Wrath, and I'm pretty sure I can win the race between 3 and 5. Even if he's starting at 23 and I'm starting at 16. Like, he doesn't know what my hand is. I could just be having Rootborn Defenses right now. But I don't think he can really play around Rootborn Defenses. Unless he drew more Detention Spheres. Or as a counterspell. Something like that. Maybe I should have more Selesnya Charms. If he's gonna leave him Precinct Captains, that way I can block with my Voices and my Guild Mages and give them +2/+2. Maybe that's not, like, ideal. Let's see. I only have 2 Charms right now and no Healers. Healer might be pretty good if he's gonna bring in, or keep in the Precinct Captains. Man, Gideon's very good if he has a lot of creatures in play. He's just Reveling again? Oh, Aetherling, okay. That's a hard card to deal with. I'm at 16 too. Maybe I do need the life gain. Maybe it's more important than I thought. I'm attacking here because it's basically free. Either I kill Aetherling or do a bunch of damage to him. Okay, damage. And I have to race this Aetherling now, so I have to play Scion. I can't win against Wrath regardless. Actually, I'll just play my calls. If he wants to exile his Aetherling and return Wrath, I'm in a pretty bad shape. I don't even know if I can race this guy, but I'm gonna try. He might have to just not attack with it. Or maybe he will. Okay. I'm not gonna block it. No, he's making it unblockable. Okay, I'm definitely not gonna block it then. Because I think blocking with a Centaur token... actually, it's probably better to block with a Centaur token if he gives me the option to. Okay, he's just wrathing now. Leaving open Syncopate, I guess. So it's Aetherling against my... ooh. Hopefully he doesn't have a Detention Sphere. Oh wow, I didn't realize you had to cast this card from your hand. It's really strange. I wonder why they cared about putting that clause in there. Unfortunately unable to attack my elemental, because he can just block with Aetherling. This guy's an army in a can. I wonder why I didn't just get into for 2 more damage. That way he could kill me this turn. Actually, it'd be at 10. But there's no way Syncopate does anything, and Cycling Charm is mediocre at best. Like, you would definitely use it to stop my attack, and I can't attack through an Aetherling. I could see leaving with 1 mana in case I wanted to. That's disgusting. And I think I'm dead here. Yeah, I can't win. I'll see what I draw, but like, yeah, there's pretty much nothing that helps me there. So this card's actually pretty good. I still want the Sundering Growths because I know he plays Key Runes. Maybe I do bring in the Tristanis instead of Scions? Well, Scion was really good that game. Or not like extremely good, but maybe it's better than Experiment 1. I don't know how good Experiment 1 is. It's never a card I really want, to be honest. But I think it's a fine card in this deck, so I don't really want to leave it. I think I'll just stay as I am. Yeah. I wonder why he isn't playing Esper. I think it's strange that he's still playing Azorius in a format with Far and Away and Obstinate. I would love to play first and jam this Experiment 1. I'm not going to mulligan. This hand's pretty good. It's not the best possible hand, but it's got like a pretty fair amount of cards that I want. I'd like to draw a 3rd land on my next turn, but it's probably too much to ask. Oh, excellent. It wasn't too much to ask. Thank you, Magic people. now he needs to have a Digital Sphere here, and I think he needs to get my voice. If he has Wrath, okay. He must not have Wrath. I'm just gonna leave open Sundering Growth. Do I even need... No. That's much wrong. I meant root point defenses. But it's still wrong. Like, I definitely just jam another voice. That way if he rats, I kill him. Because I'll have 2/2/2s, and then I can play a... Ooh, fancy. Okay, I'm just gonna attack. And then end of turn. Actually, I don't need to Sundering Growth right now. I probably will. If he plays basically anything. Zori's Key Rune. I can Sundering Growth that, or Sundering Growth is Sphere right now, and still pay for whatchamacallit? Syncopate. Okay, he has Dispel. That's really strange. Guess I'll just play an Advent. I'm out of things to do. Just 2 more evolutions and I can tech for 1 with my experiment one. I could name his Pithing Needle, but I don't, or I'm sorry, his Azori's Key Rune, but I'm not gonna die to it. So I'm not gonna bother. The plus side, basically anything evolves this experiment one. I'll go ahead and attack with it. Yeah, it's gonna be a large experiment one if he ever gets rid of this agoraphobia. But I strongly doubt that. Okay, I guess he's just gonna charm it. I can't stop him from charming it, but I can try to get in 1 damage with my experiment one. Yeah, that's what I figured would happen. He just attacks for 2 now. Oh, he just revs. Angel of Serenity. That's pretty annoying. All these defensive cards in my hand. It's really strange he didn't bounce his agoraphobia end of turn or anything. But whatever. I guess I don't have to deal with it anymore. And I'm pretty much dead if he has Sphinx's Revolution in his hand. I'm dead in 3 turns regardless. It's unfortunate. And I think that's my death now. Like, I can Pithing Needle Lifelink, but I don't think it gets me anywhere. He just attacks for 9, and then I die to this flyer I can't deal with. Yeah, I'm dead. I'm gonna name Egret Cadet. Yeah, unfortunate. I thought I had a pretty good start, but the Dispel for Sundering Growth was very good. I mean, it's not like I can play around that though. So, I'll see y'all in round 2.